Aloha, welcome to Tiki Tuesday Talks. Very special edition this time. We're going to dig into the culinary side of things. We have a very special guest. I'll introduce everybody. Hey guys, what's happening? Gunnar.
All is good, man.
Thanks for joining us this evening, your time. Tell us about where you are, what's happening.
So, yeah, I'm Gunnar. I'm in Iceland, calling you guys from restaurant Dill in Reykjavik.
Very cool. Caroline.
It's getting dark outside. It's 7 o'clock, and considering things are good.
Amazing. Tampa, Caroline. A little different than Iceland at night, maybe.
I think so.
I hope so.
I haven't been, but I have a guess.
I feel like I've heard Tampa is the Iceland of the South. I don't know if that's true or not.
I mean, I've heard wonderful things about Iceland, so
right on. Steva.
Hi. Birmingham is, balmy and beautiful and great as always.
Where's the plant? What's the plant status?
George is just stage left.
Oh, okay, resting.
He's resting. Yeah. Because I was set up for the cocktail, so.
Very cool. Aaron, you're muted, but I see a plant.
Yeah, I am at Baltimore with my tropical oasis here.
Wow.
Yeah.
Over here. This guy's really doing it. All right. Very cool. I'll talk you guys through what we have coming up. So, as mentioned, Gunnar, chef and owner of Dill in Iceland, Michelin Starred restaurant. We're going to talk about his amazing career, and we're really going to get into building the plate, taking a culinary philosophy into building a spirit with relation to Svöl Aquavit. So, as usual, chat box and questions. If you guys are on Crowdcast, you can include questions as well with Facebook Live. We'll get them over. Please do share the event, watch party, et cetera, always appreciated. Looking at about 30 to 40 minutes on the presentation, cocktail session, and then 5 questions with the Tiki fam. I'll share a little bit, although Gunnar's going to get into more detail. As mentioned, Icelandic born. He's gotten acclaim for his creative style of cooking, curious nature, and a love for reviving traditions. In 2009, in the midst of the crisis, he opened the restaurant Dill in Reykjavik. His contemporary cooking would celebrate Iceland's pristine ingredients and artisanal producers in a place otherwise heavily dependent on food imports. Nominated for the Nordic Prize and won Iceland's Restaurant of the Year every year since opening. He moved to New York in 2016 to open Agern in Grand Central Terminal. And both Agern and later that year, Dill received Michelin stars. Congrats on that. Super stoked to have you here. I'm going to remove you guys while we chat, and we'll bring you back later. Hey, man.
Hey, man. I don't know about like Restaurant of the Year ever since we opened. Like, wow. We've been open 11 years, but we've been Restaurant of the Year several times, but like not every year.
Well, I stole it from the internet, so who knows?
Yeah.
Everything's true that you read on the internet. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
Cool. Very cool. Well, super excited to have you here. As I mentioned, we deal with the bar world, most specifically a lot of the time, and/or distillers. So really stoked to have you kind of give a bit of a culinary perspective, and also to think about, how that played into our project. A lot of people know about in detail, or certainly your role within it. So I'm going to throw up these. We have many, many beautiful slides.
Yeah.
And I'll kind of let you take it away from here as to kind of how you got started in your philosophy and all that.
Excellent. I mean, the slides are more for shit and giggles, I guess. But but it's kind of like fun to have them because they kind of show the atmosphere, shows where I kind of come from, what I see every day, and etc. Where I get my inspiration from, and so on. So it's it's really something else. but apart from that, it's as well just like beautiful pictures, right?
Absolutely.
So like I was born and raised in the north part of Iceland, a small town called Akureyri. And when I say small town, it's actually like the second biggest town in Iceland, but it's like 17,000 people that actually lives there right now. 17,000.
That's the second biggest town.
Yeah, I mean, like I think like Iceland is like 240,000 people.
Wow.
I might be mistaken, but who knows?
Wow.
But yeah, so like I grew up there. I grew up like mostly a little bit outside of that little town, and we were like in the countryside. We had some horses, a cat and a dog. We had like a very nice garden, with my mother made sure that we were growing potatoes and vegetables as much as we could. I think it was like about 16. It was like 94 when I starting studying to become a chef at this restaurant in Akureyri called Fiðlarinn. And it's it was kind of crazy for me. So like I went to the school where I could kind of like learn the basics of like becoming either a waiter or a chef. And one of the teachers over there, she saw that like I enjoyed the environment. Like I enjoyed both things, front of house, back of house. Like it was just like something I enjoyed. So she actually like asked me one day like if I maybe needed like a little extra job or something, like and try to work at the restaurant. And I was like all in for that, and I was hired like as a part-time dishwasher at the restaurant called Bautin in Akureyri. And I quickly realized that like if I was really quick at doing the dishes, they would allow me to help them to fill up the salad bar or even flip a burger or two. So I very quickly became a very quick dishwasher. And like believe it or not, like I actually really enjoyed washing dishes. I mean, it was.
What did you like about it? Because I can tell you, but
it was exciting. It's like like all the people were just bringing dirty stuff, and I would clean it, and it was kind of satisfying to have like stacks of dirty things, and you made them clean and took care of them and made your station clean and nice, and it's like it's just like it was very satisfying. But I guess like that's just how I am as well. It's like if I sit down to like answer emails, I have to clean all the area before, make it organized and nice, and then I can go to the emails. I'm not sure if it's because I enjoy cleaning so much or if it's because I hate answering emails, but
maybe a little of both.
Yeah, it's either a little bit of both probably. Yeah.
That's definitely an extremely Scandinavian kind of perception that you're totally verifying right now.
So like as I was working there, I quickly realized I enjoyed being in the kitchen, and I was actually going to like a language school in England to learn English a little bit better, and to do that I needed like recommendations. So like I asked the teacher at school if she would write me a recommendation letter, and my chef at the restaurant, and they both did, and now I had those papers. So I was like, like maybe I should go to that like one fine dining restaurant in town and check if they had like a job for me and if I could become like a student there. And I came in there and like and they greeted me they were very friendly and nice. So I was like, like I like this place, like I want to be here. And they were like, oh, we don't really have a job for you. And I was like, oh, okay. So like I just kept coming there, like 2 times a week or whatnot, until they hired me. And 1st of May '94, I started working there as a student. And it's kind of like funny times, because like this is kind of like a little side note, because I remember, so my father had at the time had like a beautiful garden. He had like a lot of herbs growing there, like kind of like Icelandic herbs that were known for, like back in the days, to be used for cooking. And I would go there, and like he would give me like a lot of herbs and stuff, and I would bring it back to the restaurant and bring it to the chef, and I was like super excited. And I remember he would be like looking at me. He's like, we can't use this, and like it would literally be like thrown away. And like the guys in the kitchen looked at me like I was some kind of a witch or something. So it's kind of like amazing, like how time has changed, right?
And when are we talking about this? This is like still in the mid 90s?
Nah, it's like 94.
94. Wow. Yeah.
But I had 4 amazing years at that restaurant. I really enjoyed my time there, and I think, like it was a small place. It was like in a small town. So I think actually like I might have learned more there than, other students would learn at bigger restaurants, where there are kind of like, more chefs and cooks and etc. And you're
doing more of the things. You're learning.
Yeah, exactly. And like you just get more responsibilities, right?
Right.
So like with responsibilities, like you just learn how to take decisions, act quickly, and so on and so on. So like it was really amazing. Then so I was there for 4 years. After that, I moved to Reykjavik, the capital of Iceland, and started working at a restaurant called Hotel Holt, which at the time was like one of the the temple of fine dining, I guess, in Reykjavik. And I was there for about a year. And then one day, a Danish chef comes in and he eats at the restaurant. And after dinner, we started talking. And, he gives me his card, and he's like, if you ever want to come to Denmark, like, I would love to give you an opportunity at my restaurant, like if I have a space and etc. And like the day after, I believe I sent him an email, and I was like, hey, like I'm all in. So I moved to Denmark, started working for Jens Peter Koldbæk at a restaurant called Christie's. I was there for some 6 months, and it was really something else. And like really for me, like a step forward. Not so much about like how you're going to cook a beef or something, but like more like the produce that they had there. Like, he had he worked for a very long time in France. So we were getting a lot of like high-end produce from France. That's like, I just had never seen anything like it at the time. So it's like, it was really something for me. But it was like in the south part of Jylland, so like pretty close to Germany actually, and it was literally in middle of nowhere. So I very quickly needed a little bit more action in my life, I guess. And I talked to Jens Peter Koldbæk, was the chef and owner, and told him I would really like to move to Copenhagen. He called his friend Erwin Lauderbæk at Restaurant Saison, and I went there for a job interview. And like, I think like because like I introduced myself in Danish, he just decided that I spoke Danish fluently. And he took the job interview, and I had like, I had some idea about what was happening, but like not like a full control. And then then we started talking like salaries, and he said a number, and I had no idea what he was saying. I just said yes, and I love it. Like when can I start? and I started like 2 weeks later or something, and then like the first paycheck was kind of a surprise.
In a bad way or a good way?
No, in a very reasonable way. Let's put it that way. I wasn't blown away, but I think it was very fair though. So I was happy. I could pay rent, and I could eat and all that. So it was all good. I worked for him for a while, and then a friend of mine that I worked with before, he was working at this 2 Michelin star restaurant called Commandanten. And he calls me and he's like, I just wanted to let you know that I'm quitting, and if you want, like I can, tell the chef about you, and like you could come and like replace me. And so he did, and I went there and got hired, and I had like an incredible time there. It was my first restaurant that like had like a Michelin star, and like it was like, for me it was absolutely thrilling. And the chef there, Mikkel Morbjerg, he was something else. Like, and actually like all those 3 guys that I worked with or like worked under in Denmark, they were just something else, and they all like taught me things that were like very different, but at the same time like really something that like just blew my mind. But at the same time so different, like being with Jens Peter Koldbæk that had been going for Bocuse d'Or and etc. His food was like very sharp and exactly like this way, and then you go to Erwin Lauterbach, that was just like a little bit wilder, and like it was just flavor, and like nothing else. Like I could have thrown the food on the plate as long as it tasted good. Like he would be pretty much okay with it. But it was like, but it had to taste like amazing, and like the ingredients had to be amazing. It was like how you plated it, not so much. And I'm not saying like it looked ugly. I'm saying it was just like not priority.
Yeah.
And then I went to Commandanten. There's like 2 Michelin stars, like pretty French, but with a lot of like Danish ingredients and etc. But it's still like very different from the other places. So it's like I would say like the time working there, like I really got to see like a very nice spectrum of how food should be, or how it should be cooked, how you should search it, and etc. And getting to know like a lot of the people bringing in the produce was just like something else, and something I had never seen in Iceland. It's like it's just like before I moved to Denmark, it's like it wasn't like normal. Like nobody would just drop by on a bicycle to sell me mushrooms, but like like a normal thing in Denmark, right? It was very, very, very different.
Cool. So taking a little bit from all of those different experiences, effectively.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then in 2003, I moved back to Iceland. Worked at like several places with some amazing people. I was working with a chef, Sigge Hall, in the beginning, who as well like really taught me a lot of things, not only about cooking, but as well like kind of like how to run a restaurant. And I don't really mean it like business-wise, but like, like how to have a restaurant and kind of like create a family instead of a company. And I really, really admire that guy and his wife, Svala. Like they were there all the time, and like, on Sundays, his wife would bring us a cookie that she baked at home, and it was just like, it was very different from everything else I've seen at that point. And then after that, I started working as a sous chef with my friend Håkon Maur, who was the chef at the time at Vox at Hilton Hotel, and then I got to see like kind of like, you know, like a big operation, which was obviously very different as well. It wasn't exactly like my cup of tea. I mean, I really enjoyed being there and cooking there and etc. But I felt like I was doing like a lot of battles that I had no intention of like being in. You know, might it be like, you know, like I wanted more Icelandic ingredients, but like, you know, like the ownership wanted this and that. Like, so it's like, it's kind of like a situation where you're like, kind of like, you know, you have a firm idea of what you want to do, and then you have like other people telling you what you have to do. Let's put it that way. So I quit there and took a little adventure, worked at a couple of places in Reykjavik, and then actually went back there as a head chef. And then I had like a little bit more freedom, but you know, it's always like it's a big operation, and you kind of have to, you know, think a little bit about, you know, other people than yourself, I guess. So you know, I got a little bit tired of that, and one day, me and my friend, who was actually the general manager there, we got the opportunity to open or to like rent a space in the Nordic house here in Reykjavik, who was actually designed and built by the famous Finnish architect Alvar Aalto. And you know, like we went in there and like we were actually doing like a kind of pay party or something. And like I was standing in that restaurant, and like I was like, what do you use this for? And they're like, it's like a cafeteria. And I'm like, this could be like an amazing restaurant. And like, you know, a week later or something, they contact me and they were like, you know, are you serious? And like, if you want to go and do it, like, by all means. Oh, you're like, and like, so we decided to jump on that wagon in 2009. And, you know, it's like, you know, we go there and like things are good, like, you know, business is blooming and whatnot. And then like, you know, we had been there like trying to, you know, work on our concept, work on design and whatnot to open up the place. The whole like bank